This is my 10-year-old Philips home theater system. It has incredible sound, but in the world of wireless everything, it's a dinosaur. I was this close to getting rid of it, but what if I told you that this tiny $15 device or this $40 device could give it a 21st century brain, making it fully wireless smart AirPlay 2 speaker that can sync with every other smart AirPlay 2 speaker in your house. So today we are saving some classic tech from the landfill, and trust me, even if you are not a tech person, you can do this too. We have covered everything for our non-tech savvy people out there, so let's get started. To make it smart and completely wireless, we just need a few simple things. First, the star of the show. A Raspberry Pi. You can use any Raspberry Pi, which includes Raspberry Pi Zero, which is a $15 device. You can also use a Raspberry Pi 3, Raspberry Pi 4, or maybe the latest one, which is Raspberry Pi 4. Now, I would recommend that you go with the Raspberry Pi 3 if you already have, or if you are going to buy, because this one is a cheap option and it comes with built-in 3.5mm aux output port. Now we are going to teach this tiny computer, which is about the size of a credit card, speak Apple's AirPlay language. You will also need a micro SD card to hold its brain, a power supply, and a simple 3.5mm aux cable to connect our Raspberry Pi to the home theater's aux input port. And that's it, nothing complicated. Before our Pi can do anything, we need to give it an operating system. Basically the software that makes it work. So we are going to load it into this little micro SD card using a free tool called Raspberry Pi Imager. So go ahead, insert the micro SD card to the card reader on your laptop, or maybe you can use a card reader, and then launch the Raspberry Pi Imager tool. Now in the Imager tool, you have to click on choose device and then select your Raspberry Pi model. If you are using Raspberry Pi 3 like I am doing, choose that model, and then next you have to click on choose OS and then go ahead and choose Raspberry Pi OS other, and then there you will find Raspberry Pi OS Lite 64-bit. The Lite version is perfect for our case because we don't need a desktop interface. We are building a dedicated music receiver which is headless, and this Lite version works perfectly fine for our use case. Now click on choose storage and then carefully select your micro SD card. Now be sure that you are picking up the right one. This will erase everything on the storage that you select, so please be careful. Now hit the next button and you will see the edit settings button. You have to click on that, and this is important by the way. In here you have to give the device a host name like I'm giving. I've already mentioned Philips AirPlay. Also you have to set a username and password that you will remember, and then enter your Wi-Fi detail, network detail, which includes the SSID and the password. Once you are done, you have to go to Services tab and enable SSH. This is very important. SSH is what lets us control the Pi remotely from our computer or our mobile devices. So we don't need a separate keyboard and mouse for that. Now once that's all set, click save and then click on next, and then click yes to start flashing. Now this will take a few minutes, so sit back and relax. Now once the card is ready, you have to remove it from the card reader and pop it into the Pi. For the very first boot, connect your audio cable from the Pi to your home theater system, an HDMI cable to your TV or monitor so that we can see the IP address. That's like its home address on your network. And finally plug in the power supply. Now give it about a minute to boot up, and there's our IP address on the screen. Write this down or take a photo. We will need it in just a few seconds. Now we'll go to our main computer and we will use the SSH client to connect to our Pi. Now SSH client is a program that lets us type commands and control our Pi remotely. So I'm using this free version of Terminus. But you can use PuTTY on the Windows or the built-in terminal on your Mac computer. Next, I'll click the new host, enter the IP address we just wrote down, and give it a friendly name like RPi3, and then enter the username and the password we created earlier at the time of flashing the SD card. Now since I have connected to this Pi already before, it's telling me that the security fingerprint has changed, and that's perfectly normal after reflashing the SD card with a fresh OS. It's like Pi got a new identity. You will see an option to click yes, but I am seeing replace, so I'll click on it. Now we can control and configure our Raspberry Pi from our computer. Now at this stage, make sure your Raspberry Pi is connected to your home theater or the music stereo system which you want to upgrade, make it smart in the aux mode. Now so far we have installed the operating system, connected to the Wi-Fi, and we are now remotely controlling our Pi. So you are doing great. Now first thing first, let's get our system fully updated. This ensures that we have all the latest bug fixes and security patches before we install anything. You can always copy and paste these commands from the description. I've listed all these commands and make sure you follow them in the given sequence. Now this might take a few minutes depending on how many updates are there and how fast your network is. So just let it run, and once this is done, we will install the two key pieces of the software. First is something called NQPTP. It's a special timing system that keeps AirPlay 2 audio perfectly in sync across multiple speakers. Now you can think of it as a super accurate clock. So I'm going to show you 6 commands. Don't panic, as I said, you can always copy and paste them one at a time from the description. Now we are using these commands to build the software from the source code, which just means that we are creating a custom version specifically for our Raspberry Pi. So type these one by one. This downloads the code. Then we enter the NQPTP folder, and using the commands, we complete the build and install. Now once this install, we can tell the Pi to start this timing service automatically whenever the Raspberry Pi reboots or boots up again, and then check that it's running. So for that, we need to type these commands: sudo systemctl enable NQPTP. This will enable the service. And then sudo systemctl start NQPTP. This will start the services. And then if you want to check the status, if it's running or not, you can type this command to check the status. When you run this command, you will see active running in the green. If you see this in the green, perfect. If it's red or says failed, pause the video and double check the previous steps. Next, we install Shairport Sync. Now this is the actual AirPlay receiver software, the heart of our whole project. Same process like we did in NQPTP, just a few more commands that you can always copy and paste. So we'll go back a folder and download the repository using git clone command. Now this will download the repository, and then we use this next command to move into the Shairport folder, and then we do the same steps to build this and install it. Now this long configure command is telling it exactly which features to include. Most importantly, you can see AirPlay 2 support. Next, you type make command. Now this command will take a bit longer, maybe 5 to 10 minutes. So it's a perfect time for a coffee break. Next, we type the command sudo make install, and this is going to install. Excellent. All the software is built and installed. At this stage, we are more than halfway there. But before we configure anything else, let's do a quick sanity check to make sure sound is actually coming out of our Pi. So for that, we need to confirm the hardware is working before we blame the software. So let's check the list of audio devices using the command AirPlay-L. This will list out all the hardware devices that are connected, that are audio capable, and that can play music. So this includes, in my case, the headphone jack and the HDMI. Now, if you are using Raspberry Pi 0 and a USB DAC, you will see that here too. Now for the Raspberry Pi 3, 4, 5, which has the headphone jack, we are looking for card 0 device 0. That's the Pi's built-in headphone jack. So now that we know the card and the device ID, we can play a test sound directly to that jack using this command. Now make sure your Raspberry Pi is connected to your home theater in the aux mode, otherwise you won't hear anything. So as soon as you type this command or paste this command and press the enter key, you will hear a sound front center from your speakers. If you hear that, that means our hardware is working perfectly fine, and any issues later on will be configuration related, not the broken hardware. So this is sorted. Now at this stage, we can edit the main configuration file of our Shairport sync. This is where we tell Shairport sync exactly how to behave. So type the command sudo nano, and then the Shairport configuration file is stored in the etc folder. So type that path and press the enter key. As soon as you do that, you will see a lot of text. So don't panic. Here's the key thing to understand. Many lines are disabled because they have 2 slashes at the front. Now to activate any setting, you must delete those forward slashes. And this is the most important part. If you forget to delete the slashes, the changes we do won't take any effect. So let me walk you through exactly what to change. In the general section at the very top, you will see a line that says name. Delete the forward slashes at the front and change the %h to any name. I have given it Pi AirPlay 2. You can give it anything. The name you give here is what is going to be shown when you select it on your iPhone, iPad or Mac system when you try to AirPlay. So this is going to be the device name. Now still in the general section, you have to find the volume settings. Specifically, you have to uncomment volume max dB by deleting the slashes again and set it to 3. This gives us a bit of extra headroom. Next, we uncomment default AirPlay volume and set it to -6. Now this prevents it from blasting at full volume when you first connect. You can play with this setting. In my case, at 24 value, the volume was too low, so I had to change it to 6. You can do the same if you are using Raspberry Pi 3. Next, we uncomment the high volume idle timeout and set it to 1. This means if there's no audio for 1 minute, it will reduce the volume to save your ears if something suddenly plays. Now we have to scroll down. We have to look for a section header that says ALSA. ALSA. It's about halfway down the file. ALSA is the Linux audio system that we are using. So uncomment the output device and set it to plug HW 0,0. Now remember, that's our audio jack, the device 0 and card 0. So we are mentioning this again. If you are using USB DAC, you have to put those values. Similarly, you have to uncomment mixer control name and set it to PCM. By default, it is PCM, so you can keep it like that. This tells it which volume control to use. Let's also uncomment output rate and keep it to auto, or you can also change it to the different value as shown. Next, we set the output format to S16. S16, these are standard audio quality settings that work with almost everything. Perfect. Now let's press Ctrl X and then Y key and then the Enter key to save the changes. Now if you made it till here, you just did the hardest part of the entire guide. Next, let's max out the system volume so that we have full range to work with. For that, we will use these two commands. Amixer set PCM 100% and sudo elsactl store. This is going to permanently save the settings. Now here's something frustrating that happens sometimes. We need to start the service, but the startup file does not exist yet. If you try to start it and get an error like this that I'm getting, don't worry, we'll just create the file ourselves and fix it. So type this command and paste this entire code in this file. Again, you have to press Ctrl X key, then Y key and then press the Enter key to save these changes. Now that the file exists, we can properly enable the service. So for that, we'll type the command sudo systemctl daemon reload. This tells the system to look for the new services. Then we type the command sudo systemctl enable Shairport sync that we used earlier, but we got error. But this time this is going to run because we created the file manually. So what it does is it makes it start automatically on the boot. Next, now that we have enabled it, we can start it manually. So we type the command sudo systemctl start Shairport sync. This starts the Shairport sync service immediately. And if you want to check the status, again, you can use the status command to check the status of Shairport sync. When you run this command, you should see active running in the green. If you do that, problem solved. Now here's one last pro tip to prevent audio dropouts. Sometimes the Raspberry Pi tries to save power by reducing the Wi-Fi strength, which causes the music to stutter or cut out, or you may not able to see the device when you try to AirPlay. So we are going to tell the Pi to keep the Wi-Fi at full power and do not do power management or save power. So first we check if the power saving is currently on by using the command iwconfig. This will show you power management. If it's on or not, you have to look for the power management text. If it says on, by default it's on, so it should be on. So for that, what we can do is we can either go to Raspberry Pi configuration, or you can do it manually like I did. What I did was I created a RC local file and pasted this entire text in it. After pasting the text, we press Ctrl key, X key simultaneously and then press the Y key and then the Enter key to save these changes. Now to make this file executable, we have to use chmod command, which will enable the system to run it. It will have permission to execute this file. So We type the command sudo chmod and make our rc local file executable, and then we create a service file to actually run this script at the startup. So we have to create a script. So we'll create this local service script using the nano command and then paste this entire code. Again, to save this, we have to press Ctrl plus X key, then Y key, and then the enter key. This will save the changes which we just made. And now we are going to enable it just like we did for earlier files. So we type the command sudo systemctl enable rc local service, and this will enable the service, and this will tell basically Pi to run this at every boot. Now at this stage we need to reboot our Pi. We are done with everything. So we use the command sudo reboot to restart our system. Now after restart, if we check the power management using the same iwconfig command, it will show you, it should show off, and it will show off. So if you see that, congratulations, your Wi-Fi will now stay at full power and you should not get any dropouts or experience any missing AirPlay speaker option. So yeah, and now for the moment of truth. I'm grabbing my phone, opening the music app, tapping the AirPlay icon, and there it is, Pi AirPlay 2. Let's tap that and see what happens. So it works. Now if I select my TV as well, which is AirPlay capable by default, it comes with AirPlay support, it will start playing the music, and both music sync very well. You can hear it yourself. And I can control individual volumes. So I have like 3-floor building. I have multiple system. There's living room on the first floor. I live on the top. So if I want to play, if I am having a party or something, I can just tap on AirPlay 2. I can play on my old ancient 1000 watt RMS home theater system, the same sound which will be played on the first floor and on the second floor. So those devices are AirPlay capable by default, comes from the company, and they support it, but we have made this old one support it as well. And if there's a party going on, the music is played across all the music system and everything is in sync. So all in all, it works and it's absolutely perfect. As you heard, the sound is amazing, the connection is very solid, and the best thing, we built it ourselves. We made a classic sound system that was headed for the trash and made it smarter than the speakers which cost hundreds of dollars. So with a bit of typing, some copying and pasting, and a little real world troubleshooting, we have given this ancient but powerful and amazing sound system a new life. We have actually made it smart, wireless, truly wireless. So it's truly smart now. Now all the commands and text, as I mentioned multiple times, are given in the description. The link is there in the description. You can just copy and paste these commands and all the code. I have also included a troubleshooting section in case if you hit any snag. So now tell me what old piece of tech you are going to bring back from the dead. Also suggest if you want me to make any other device or appliance in your home smart and wireless and prevent it from going into the trash. Do let me know in the comments down below. Finally, if this video helped you out or you found it helpful, educational, give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more projects like this. Thank you for watching and happy tinkering.